The third temple is already being prepared, and at any moment now, it's going to be revealed to the world. This may sound unbelievable, but it's literally happening as we speak. And people don't realize how quickly this can happen. How quickly, from the point that the Mashiach arrives, how quickly things will unfold. It'll unfold so quick that it'll completely catch us off guard. As it says, En ben David ba'ele behesach hadas. Mashiach will come actually at a time when we are distracted. It will be at a time where we don't expect it, and it'll catch us completely off guard. So all this reality that we await, the coming of Mashiach, the third temple, the everlasting temple, will happen incredibly quick. Now, in order for us to really understand this, we have to realize, how is it going to happen? It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's going to be, a building process and construction, because there are two opinions in the Gemara about whether the Beis Hamikdash will come from heaven or will be built here on earth. The first two temples were built on earth. The opinion that claims that it will be built in heaven says the other two were built on earth by human hands, so they didn't last. But the temple that will be built in heaven will last forever. Now, how do we deal with these two opinions? Contradictory opinions. One opinion says it will be built in heaven, when the other says it will be built on earth. So what is it? How do we deal with that? The Rebbe gives us a solution. The Rebbe says, actually, it's a combination of both. And that satisfies both opinions. The Rebbe says it will mainly be built in heaven, but it'll be completed down here on earth. The final touch-ups, the final touch-up jobs will be done here on earth. Now, why do I say it's being prepared as we speak? Well, a lot of people ask about the red heifer, the paraduma. Well, there are organizations that are working on breeding or raising a red heifer, which is very interesting. That wasn't really the part I was referring to say that why I think we're already preparing. I was speaking more on the aspect of what's going on in heaven, and that is that it says in the book of Ezekiel, Yechezkel, that when you learn about the building of the Beis Hamikdash, you learn about the laws of the temple and the structure of the temple, you literally build it. You build it in heaven. So why is this new right now? Well, this has been going on since the times of Yechezkel, Ezekiel, but here is the difference. Now, we are at a point where there is such an accessibility to information. We're in the age of information, that more people are learning about the structure of the Beis Hamikdash, the temple, than ever before, because of technology and the accessibility and the awareness of these holy teachings. Also, the Rebbe told us that we are in a time now that we have passed a certain threshold, that at any moment now the Messiah can come, the Mashiach can come. Meaning, couldn't he always come at any time? Yes, he could have always come at any time, but now we've reached a point that he can show up at any time, that there's no prerequisite for him to show up. Meaning, enough prophecies have unfolded that he can just show up now. Whereas before, there were certain prophecies that needed to unfold for him to be able to just show up at any certain point. But now, as many as prophecies needed have unfolded that he can show up at any point. So meaning, imagine you have a guest coming to your house and he's at customs and he's having problems at customs. So yeah, he can technically show up at any point, but you need to know that he passed through customs first. Then once he passed through customs, you really know he can show up at any point. Until he passes customs, he needs to pass customs to really say that he can show up at any point. But once he passes customs, really he can show up at any point. Once you know he passed customs. Now the Mashiach has passed through customs. He can show up at any point. So surely the third temple can be revealed at any point now. Now, I just want to say, what is it, the temple, the third temple? It is when the temple stood, the Beis Hamikdash, there were 10 constant miracles that occurred that gave people an awareness of God, or caused them to experience a miracle of God. These miracles were subtle miracles, but very powerful, meaning, just to give you some examples, when the temple was so crowded, when everyone would bow, there would all of a sudden be enough room for everyone to bow completely, which didn't make any sense. Imagine you're standing shoulder to shoulder, crammed with everyone, and when everyone has to bow, all of a sudden there's enough room for everyone to bow on the floor. It's beyond spatial dimensions. It's a miracle within spatial dimensions. Also, there was never a bug, an insect that would come to the meat, and there was a lot of meat in the temple because of all the sacrifices. And yet there was never a fly or an insect in that area. Those are two examples of the 10. Just understand there was quite intense miracles, unbelievable miracles, but they were subtle, meaning it wasn't like the sea splitting. You had to pay attention to see it. And that's a lesson for us in life now, that God is always performing miracles for us. But we need to pay attention in order to see it. So these miracles in the Beis Hamikdash were subtle, but once we paid attention to them, we could actually see them. And Hashem in our life performs countless miracles. But if we don't pay attention to them, we can miss them. And there was also the revelation of Hashem's infinite light within the temple. The Shekhinah, the divine presence, was revealed. So everybody experienced a heightened consciousness, a consciousness of God, a heightened awareness of God, a euphoric and ecstatic state, which we will experience when the temple comes. And we'll experience a higher level of this because the third temple will be the ultimate temple, and it will last and stand forever and ever. So I think the main points we have to understand is we're in the age of information. When we learn about the temple, we build the temple. And now you guys are learning about the temple and different aspects and the structures and the inner chamber. There was an inner chamber and the outer chamber, the outer courtyard. And there was the Holy of Holies at the middle, in the inner part, not exactly in the center, but in the inner part. And the divine presence was revealed there. And the Kohen, the high priest, would only go there into the innermost part, chamber, to light the incense, a cloud of smoke, on Yom Kippurim, Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year. So when we learn about all these details, which they seem, obviously we know the Torah is holy, it's godliness, but they seem, you're just studying. You're not just studying. You're literally, by doing this, you are building the structure of the third temple up in heaven, which is something that's unbelievable. So there's access to information like never before. And we're past a certain level of threshold of prophecy that the Mashiach could come at any point. So with all these things in mind, we know that we are ever close to the revelation of the Beis Hamikdash, the third temple, and the coming of Mashiach, because they go hand in hand. And there are Jews doing Teshuva like never before. Teshuva, repenting and returning to God. That also brings the redemption. Uva l'tzion gola shava pesha v'Yaakov. When will the Messiah come? When the Jewish people return to God. And giving tzedakah, tzion b'mishpat tifadeh. When you give tzedakah, you bring the redemption faster. And learning the Chassidus, the secrets of Torah, is tasting of the Torah Mashiach. And with all that's going on in the Holy Land, foreign policy, and the obsession with Jewish people around the world, I see this all together as a culmination of the acceleration of the coming of Mashiach. And we can accelerate it by our actions. So with all this in mind, really, there's no limit to how soon we could bring Mashiach. We have to have this at the forefront of our mind, and it should cause us motivation and excitement in order to carry out the will of Hashem. So I hope this message found you all well, and we should merit to see the Beis Hamikdash with our own eyes today. God bless you.